You're back for another round here. As they're getting the field set up. What I need to do now, though, is update the chat screen. So let's do this here. Out the chat. Fill the URL. Go back to OBS. Back here. Update the URL. And boom. All working chat. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Let's see here. Make sure that that is still working. That doesn't look like it's working anymore. Okay, fixed. Had to take a moment to fix a technical difficulty. All right. We'll wait until people start coming on in, assuming anyone comes on in, and then we will discuss some strongman action. So, much like the first event, the ladies will be up first, and then it will be the men. While they're getting set up, I might take a moment to step away and go check on my pets. I'll see. I don't want to do that and then get started immediately, and then I'll be missing the action. So I'll see if they're running behind or not. Ooh, could still use some more rest. Maybe I'll stick a poll up just for the heck of it. Set the entire stream. Yeah, I think we will. We'll do this. It's really the question anyway. Hmm. That's interesting setup right there. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, they're still gonna take a couple minutes, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check on my pets. It'll be a good fur daddy. Oh. Gosh dang it. Okay. So on their website, they had put the schedule for this event different than what I thought they were doing, and now it looks like they're actually carrying it out the way that I thought they were doing it, which was the men versus the women at the same time. On the schedule of events, they say the women first and the men after. So that's the way I put it in the description. But I was like, man, I didn't think that's what they were doing. I'm winded because I just had to go chase my dog around the block. Oh man. Rip and press, keys to the event, foot speed, grip strength, shoulder power. That's what they say. It is what they say. All right. Tristan is your 2023 Magnus for Magnuson Strongman Classic winner. I do kind of like that Roga's sticking little nuggets like that on the screen. All right. Scotland. Guys versus the girls. Well, Donna was certainly in no hurry to get to that log, that's for sure. Put the farmers down and was like, okay, let's just take a break. After a nice little siesta, I'll wake back up and I might decide to compete again. Not a lot of log moving going on here. Man, he just could not lock that out. Close. No cigar. Lots of good effort. Can't say he wasn't trying. I think I have another dog that wants to come in here. Ugh. Come on, Tristan. Hey, did they give it to him? Okay, they gave him the down thing. Okay. It's like, I don't know if his arms can go straighter than that. That's impressive that he got that after two failed misses, especially on that second one where he was spending all that effort. So he's going to walk away with one rep, which is better, infinitely better than zero. But probably a bit disappointed because there's no reason he shouldn't have two. Not that he deserved the call on that middle one, that's what I'm saying. He did not deserve the call. But as long as he fought it, and then to come back and still be able to press it after that, shows that the strength is there. Then he had that first attempt too that didn't go well. So you add that first attempt to not go well, added to that second attempt where he fought forever. It should have been enough for the lockout. I think he's probably a tad disappointed. Tucker, you need to shut up. You need to shut up. I know you have allergies. I'm sorry you have allergies. But I'm doing something here. Detective. Man, I don't know how that's supposed to be said. I do see one of my favorite words on the end of that. Buffet is always nice. Uh, but I have no idea what's that supposed to be. Wabuffet? Wabuffet. 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 I don't know. Wait, I can say Elizabeth, though. That's easier. Greetings and salutations. Oh. Bum, 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 bum. Luke, the Highland Oak. Right here in the Highland. Pokemon Wabu Fet. Oh, I never really got into Pokemon. My little brother loved it. I thought the game was all right, but I would have much rather sat down to have played some Link to the Past or some Chrono Trigger in those days. The big press from Luke. He's a good log presser. There's a second rep. I think he should be able to get a third. Come on, Luke. You can get a third. Your countrymen want to see you do it. Should have took some time and rested a little more while he was down there. Now I don't think he's gonna get it. Um, I don't know that I don't know that I want to talk about the pay thing. Um, if it was phrased differently, I would probably be willing. Good job, Luke. Much surprised. That is now, he's the second male athlete in a row to press the log after spending a ton of energy in a failing position. They usually do not get it after a fail like that, so that's really impressive. I do think he still would have been better served to have taken a little bit more time between those second and third reps, but excellent job, Luke. Good job. Rogue loses a fair amount of money on hosting the strongman events for sure. Um, but but now that they're producing the equipment that we can use and things of that nature, obviously it's an investment to them to sell equipment. Um, and I'm grateful for them. Rogue takes a lot of heat from the strongman community for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. Um, it's like we complain about our sport not having a large following, not being enough money for our athletes, very nichey, and no one really knows us or respects us, blah, blah, blah. And then we see someone come along and throw some big money our way and doesn't have a whole lot to personally gain for them now. They're playing the long game. And we kind of give them a lot of flack and I don't know. It seems like we can't help but work against ourselves, in my opinion. So I'm pretty grateful for Rogue's involvement in the sport. We've had two comments about the Rogue pay, uh, and I believe we have one gentleman chatter and one lady chatter here. I guess I'll lend in. And here's what I'll say. Again, it's my big issue is the way that the question from Banana Hammock was phrased. Um, nice try, Melissa Peacock. With the whole concept of isn't it crazy that Rogue is paying the women the same? Crazy. I can't say that it's crazy. Now, when we often talk about the pay gap between men and women athletics, a lot of times it's people saying, "Hey, pay the women more, pay the women more, pay the women more," and then people on the other side, of which I am one of them, will often say, well, they'd love to pay the women more. However, the women aren't helping make the people any money because the spectators aren't coming there to see them. And we can argue about whether that's good, bad, terrible, whatever, but it's a true statement. It's usually the men that are driving the eyeballs. It's the men that are producing the revenue and making the money. Therefore, they're going to make more money. However, in this case, with the case of Rogue here, and in the case of strongman in general, let's be honest, again, strongman is such a niche sport. None of these athletes are really making a lot of money for anyone. People don't know who the heck we are, and they don't know who these guys are. You can see the world's strongest man show up in a lot of airports, and they won't even be bothered by a lot of people. People won't know who Brian Shaw is. Now, a lot of people will, and more so him than other people because he's got the millions of followers. But still, he's just a big dude that people are amazed by when he walks down the street. You look at the best of any other sport, they're accosted. So there's not a whole lot of we as a sport aren't generating a lot of money for any sponsors or big companies at all. In this case, we already discussed how Rogue is losing money on this event, and this is a loss leader for them. The fact that they're not going to be making money anyway, and they're trying to grow the sport, and Rogue is a big company that sells a lot of athletic equipment to women. So for them, it makes sense. They're not just going to be trying to sell strongman equipment to men. They want to sell strongman equipment to men and women. That's going to help their bottom line. That's ultimately what they want to do. Since they have to help the sport of strongman grow, why not try to help it grow on both the male side and the female side? Because that's going to be the closest approach back to getting them a positive ROI. So, in that regards, no, I don't think it's crazy. If someone said, "Hey, I don't understand why men make more than women traditionally in sports," I would offer the argument that I did on the other hand. In this case, though, I don't think it's crazy. It's no more crazy that Rogue is paying the women as much as they are the men as it is that they're willing to lose money on the events in general. But again, they're playing the long game. That's their focus. And I still remain grateful, very, very grateful for what Rogue is doing and their involvement in our sport. And that's what I'll say. Tucker, you've got to stop. I don't care that you have allergies, pal. I feel bad for you, but I'm streaming, and if you don't stop making a ruckus, I'm going to have to put you out of the room. Thomas Evans is across the line first. That's one rep for Thomas. Talking all about the pay, and I missed getting to really give any commentary on Tom's entire run. I feel kind of bad about that because he blew through it, had an excellent time to complete the course. Not quite as excellent as Mr. Thomas Evans just did. Wow. 37 seconds for Thomas Evans. Nice. Good try, Rebecca. Her physique has changed a lot since this time last year. She looks a lot more solid in the chest and shoulders, arms. I might redo the same exact poll, but since no one's here, I'll end the poll. See here. So we had 6 votes. I'm super shocked by this. I did not think we'd have that many votes, period. And then we had 3 people say that Mitchell Hooper wins it, and 3 people say no. I am utterly shocked that it's a 50-50 split. I thought it would be 85% in the favor of Hooper. So what I read from this is there's a lot of people here who believe in Thor. But yeah, I'm shocked. And I'm not complaining if that were to happen. So, anytime you say anything that's not cheering someone, the internet likes to say you're a hater. Nothing I just said is against Mitchell Hooper. I'm happy if he wins. I'd be happy if he doesn't, but not because I'd be rooting against him, but because I want to see good competition. Something I say every single stream. I want to see good competition. And I would like to see Mitchell Hooper pushed a lot more next year. I don't want to see him show up and win every one. If he does, that's great for him. And I pay for his channel. I'm an internal subscriber. Uh, Going to let him be a coach of mine very, very shortly. So I got nothing against Mitchell Hooper at all, but I'd like a little more intrigue. I'd like a little more drama. I'd like to not have to get up at 3:30 a.m. knowing already before I sit down at my desk who I think is going to win. Um, it would be excellent to sit here and get those butterflies and nerves in my stomach that I used to get when I watched because I didn't know what was going to happen. How happy am I with the election results? Well, we just commented on that 50-50. I'm completely shocked that it went down that way. I'm totally shocked that our election was 50-50. All right, time for a little dinosaur action. Whoa! Ah, Evan Singleton. Evan Singleton. Good job, Jardine. Lock it out. There you go. All right. So he completes it. And that will put him between Thomas Evans and Tom S. Stoltman. I just wanted to say Thomas so that I could say Thomas twice. That's all. Good job, Jardine. Come on, do this. There hasn't been a woman to complete the ladder yet. I think she might have actually been the first one with a successful rep on the log. If anyone's got it, they've only got it one. I don't remember anyone doing it. But she'll definitely be the first to complete the ladder or the entire run if she can. I'd like to see her do this. Come on. Come on. Not going to happen. Good effort. That still might be good enough for a first place finish in this 2 reps. That might take it for the ladies. Okay, Tucker, you're getting out of the room, pal. See ya. These are lay down. He's probably going to be noisier outside the door than he was in here. Oh my gosh. Does anybody want some pets? I can give some people some pets. All right. Let me put on my new old man glasses. My readers. Aviator style readers, baby. Shout out to Zenny Optical. I ordered one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 pairs of glasses from them recently. 7 pairs. True story. 2 sets of prescription sunglasses, 2 sets of readers, and then 3 regular. Well, if you want some pets, kind of an expensive trip, but if you want to come claim them, I can hook you up with as many as you want. We have no shortage of animals here. No shortage of animals. Bobby Thompson, he's behind. I believe that might be the first female competitor that beat the male across the line. I think. And we have a nice lift on the log, and she made that look super easy. Kind of surprised to see. Got the second one very easy too. Okay. So we're going to see the first lady complete the ladder here now. I guess Jardine's not going to win first place. Wow, she made all of those reps look super easy. And I am really am surprised to see Bobby struggling this much. Usually he's a good log lifter. We're going to talk about something that Mitchell Hooper brought up in an interview that he did, a sit down interview that he did with Brian Shaw soon. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have several pieces of content that I'll be producing based on the podcast that Brian and Mitchell did. Got several different pieces of content that are coming out of that. Anyway, got several things I need to post. There's a lot of stuff that's already recorded that I need to post. Anyway, one of the things I want to talk about real quick, because Rogue is known as one of the lighter competitions of the year. And Mitchell Hooper sort of brought up something that I've talked about in the past, because we get in our chats and we're the diehards of the diehards, and we want to see the heaviest lifts possible. And so the chat is usually littered with the competition needs to be heavy, 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 heavy. You'll see athletes fail tremendous stuff. People are like, I don't care, it should be heavier. And then I often have asked, like, is it bad for the spectators? Is it bad for the sport to see people fail a lot? So that's one side of it, but that's not what Mitchell Hooper asked. He asked something else that I've wondered out loud before in our chats and outside of our chats, which is, when it is a lighter competition, you oftentimes see athletes win. And the fans don't give the athlete credit for winning. Instead, they take the credit away from the athlete for winning and go, yeah, well, it was a light competition, and so it doesn't really prove anything, doesn't really mean they're the strongest. Make the competition heavier, and then I'll give them credit. That's the cry from a lot of the diehard strongman fans, probably the overwhelming majority, to be honest, and some of the commentators and past guys of the sport as well. Well, I'd always thought, well, it's interesting you say that, but it seems like the same people win, whether it's the lighter contests or the heavier ones. And Mitchell Hooper pinned that question to Brian directly. He said, hey, there's a lot of talk about the heavier events and the lighter events, like, say, Rogue versus Snow, for example. But if the lighter events and the movement-based events don't really show who is the strongest person, something I've heard you talk about, how is it that the people who win those also win the heavier shows? To which Brian said, well, it's an interesting question. And I'm kind of curious if there's anyone still watching me here or sitting here watching. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? Do you find it interesting that the lighter competitions and the heavier competitions can be won by the same people if the lighter competitions aren't proving who's a strong dude? Or do you think it's just some weird coincidence? But I don't know. Really, I think it's a question that causes us to challenge our own bias and ask ourselves, do we believe and say things because it's convenient and it affirms what we already think, or are we open to new ideas even if they run counter to what we believe? All right, Olga versus Matthew Ragg. That's one rep for Ragg. That's still one rep for Ragg. And that's a rep for Olga. And we have 2 rounds left. So 2 competitors to go after this one. 4 competitors, I guess. 2 males, 2 females. Okay. All right. Both of you get it at the exact same time here. Both gonna get it at the same time. I just feel it. It's gonna happen. Oh gosh, so tired. Oh. But don't even look at it like you're gonna go again after that, Matt. You just set that down like you had nothing. Look at it like, maybe go. I'm totally shocked. Why would you even? Why would you pick it back up after you didn't even essentially try on the rep before? Seemed like a good way to waste energy for another clean. All right, all right. Here's your moose, sports fans. He is your reigning, defending, undisputed Rogue Invitational champion. And he has one of the best ladies going up against him. Two Laws athletes squaring off against one another here. Come on, it's a lot of delay to have them in the ready position. People gonna go or not? That'll take an athlete right out of the zone. All right. Oh, Mitchell. Whoa, dude. Whoa. Now we see him do a lot of leans, and he's got that nice back flexibility and strength, but that first one was a little bit. I guess the only saving grace for him there is he said, he said yesterday he'd be fine if it ended all today. He's ready to, if he had to wrap it up and call it a career, he's happy with what he's accomplished and no regrets. Well, you lean back like that and try to lift the thing up. That's a good way to call it a career. My goodness, Hooper. So he's 2/100ths of a second behind Thomas Evans, who had an excellent time. Talked about it when he did it. It was just, he just smoked it. It was really, really, really super duper duper impressive. Um, if Hooper hadn't spent 5 seconds in that crazy unorthodox position trying to save this thing, he would be your event leader right now. But now he isn't. Man, that just looked nasty. That just looked nasty. And good job for Andrea Thompson as well. Want to give the ladies a little shout there. Spent so much time focusing on Hooper and that crazy position he had himself in. Uh, that really didn't give any kind of focus at all to Andrea's run, and guess I'm sorry about that. Look at that. 37:01, 37:03, and I guess they're saying Hathor isn't going. Is that what the scratch means, or just because they? Why would you show the unofficial results? No, he's gonna go. Okay, I thought that was kind of weird. Why would you show the unofficial results if not everyone has gone? Good thing they called it unofficial. Really bad if that was official results. We're gonna get to learn a little bit about Thor's pressing power here, more so than I think that you learn in their training videos. It's nice to see the training videos and stuff they put on YouTube and things of that nature, but I think competition day is where we find out where they're really at. Definitely made the clean look easy, didn't he? Just kind of curled it. He's got one rep. Now his time is slow enough that there's space between him and Hooper here. So Hooper is your new overall leader with 2 second place finishes. Now it's just a question of how many spaces is Half Thor going to lose here? And if he only manages one rep, the answer is a lot. I think the only thing that Thor is really missing here isn't the pressing power. I think Thor is missing taking a cue from Evan Singleton. He's approaching this log very lackadaisical, very nonchalant. Kind of go up there, we'll do this. He needs to channel his inner Evan Singleton and go up there and act like that log is his enemy and they're about to commit a human sacrifice and he must stop it. He just needs a little more explosivity, is what I'm trying to tell y'all. That was better, but nothing once it was up there. All right. So, that's good news if your name is Mitchell Hooper. It's bad news to whoever voted no in our poll earlier, which again, I still can't believe it was a 50-50 split. Because you've got to believe that those who voted no were probably looking at and leaning towards Thor more than likely. Or maybe they were expecting a huge comeback from Tom really early on. I don't know, but I mean, anyway, having said all of that, you see Thor struggle with the pressing that much, and even though Mitchell has 0 event wins so far, still makes it look like he's probably your front runner, right? So Thor has to settle for a tie for last place in that event. He's giving up enough points there that Hooper isn't worried. Basically, the only way that Hooper doesn't win the show, in my opinion, now is if he's injured. The way that he did that first rep on the log, possible. We might see that. Not rooting for that at all. Don't want anybody to get hurt or go home. But with that many points between Hooper and the field, or at least the field that can catch him, your closest competitor to him in contention would be Big Tom now, and that's pretty distant. So I think there's just too. You can't give Mitchell Hooper breathing room. You can't give him breathing room. And he has breathing room now. So he's going to cruise right on in to another victory. And like his 7,643rd podium in a row. And I guess this will be his 8th or 9th win in a row. He's a real. He's on a real streak, man. A real streak. Kind of crazy. All right, people. Well, we've seen that, so I'm going to shut this down and schedule the final stream of the day for later. We can come back and watch event 3 together. And until then, I have a job, so I've got to do my job. So I'll talk to you guys at that time, and we'll see you then.